Imagine this: a sculptor standing before a massive block of marble. Every chip, every stroke of the hammer is deliberate. Slowly, out of what seemed like a formless mass, a masterpiece begins to emerge. Life in many ways is like that block of marble, and we are the sculptors. The tools we use to shape our lives, our time, our energy, our attention, are as essential to our success as the sculptor's chisel and hammer. But how often do we wield these tools with the intention they deserve? Let's pause here for a moment and really think about that. How often do we go through life reacting to whatever comes our way, rather than deliberately shaping our path? It's easy to get caught up in the whirlwind of daily tasks, but when was the last time you stopped to consider if you're truly in control of your time, your energy, and your attention? I want you to picture yourself in the middle of a busy day. You've got a million things on your mind, tasks piling up, people demanding your attention. Now imagine someone telling you that you could cut through all that noise, that you could focus on what really matters, and let the rest fade into the background. That's what I want to talk to you about today. How you can take control of these three critical areas of your life and use them to create something extraordinary. When you master your time, energy, and attention, you're not just managing your day better, you're elevating your entire life. Imagine having the ability to channel your efforts into the things that truly matter, without getting sidetracked by distractions or drained by unnecessary tasks. Imagine waking up each morning with a clear sense of purpose, knowing exactly what you need to do and having the energy to do it. This is more than just productivity. It's about living a life that is rich with meaning and aligned with your deepest values. It's about creating a life where every day feels purposeful, where your goals feel attainable, and where your dreams start becoming your reality. Now let's take a closer look at time. We all have 24 hours in a day, but the difference between those who thrive and those who just survive often comes down to how they use those hours. Think about this. Are you letting your time slip away, or are you spending it on things that truly matter to you? Let me share a story with you. Thomas wasn't born into success. He built it with his own two hands. But what many people don't know is that Thomas wasn't always so disciplined. There was a time in his life when he struggled to get out of bed in the morning. He felt lost, overwhelmed by the pressures of life, and unsure of his direction. He'd spend hours scrolling through social media, comparing himself to others, feeling like he was falling behind. But one day, something inside him snapped. He realized that if he didn't take control of his life, he would never achieve his dreams. He made a decision to change, and that change started with his mornings. He began waking up before the sun, not because he was a natural early riser, but because he knew those early hours were his golden hours, when his mind was sharpest and his focus was clearest. Each morning as the world slept, Thomas would sit in silence, planning his day with precision. He'd visualize his goals, feel the emotions of achieving them, and map out exactly how he would use his time. But this wasn't just a routine, it was a lifeline. It was his way of reclaiming control, of saying to the world, "This is my time, and I will use it wisely." Thomas's story isn't just about productivity, it's about transformation. It's about the power of taking deliberate action, day after day, even when it's hard, even when you don't feel like it. And because of that, he was able to achieve more in a few hours than most people do in an entire day. This brings us to energy. Time without energy is like a car without fuel. You can have all the time in the world, but if you're too drained to use it effectively, what's the point? Energy isn't just about physical stamina, it's about mental clarity, emotional resilience, and the drive to keep going, even when things get tough. And trust me, things will get tough. But here's the secret. It's not about having endless energy. It's about managing the energy you have. Let's talk about Maria. Maria was a high achiever, always on the go, always pushing herself to the limit. She was the kind of person who could get more done in a day than most people do in a week. But what people didn't see was the toll it took on her. By the middle of the day, her energy levels would plummet. She'd find herself exhausted, mentally drained, and struggling to stay focused. But Maria wasn't one to give up. She knew she needed to find a way to sustain her energy, to keep going without burning out. So, she started tracking her energy levels throughout the day. What she found surprised her. Her energy peaked in the morning and dipped sharply after lunch. She realized that she was pushing herself too hard without giving herself the time to recharge. Maria made a change. She began scheduling her most important tasks for the morning when she was at her best. She also started taking short breaks just to recharge, so that when the afternoon slump hit, she wasn't completely drained. It wasn't easy. There were days when she felt like she was fighting against her own nature. But she persisted because she knew that if she didn't manage her energy, she would never be able to sustain the level of success she was striving for. Maria's story is a powerful reminder that energy management is crucial to success. It's not just about working hard, it's about working smart, knowing when to push and when to pull back. It's about being in tune with your own rhythms, understanding when you're at your best, and planning your day around those peaks. And finally, let's talk about attention. You can have all the time and energy in the world, but without focus, it all slips away. Our attention is constantly under siege. Notifications, emails, social media, and a million other distractions. It's no wonder that we struggle to stay focused on the things that really matter. But here's the thing, your attention is your most valuable asset. It's what allows you to turn your time and energy into results. Without focus, you're just spinning your wheels, going nowhere fast. But with focus, you can achieve things you never thought possible. Let me share another piece of Thomas's story. When Thomas worked, he worked with laser focus. But this wasn't always the case. There was a time when he was constantly distracted, jumping from one task to another, never really finishing anything. He knew he had to change if he wanted to succeed. So Thomas made a commitment to himself. He started small by setting aside just 30 minutes each day to work on his most important task, without any distractions. It was hard at first. His mind would wander, and he'd feel the urge to check his phone or respond to an email. But he stuck with it. Over time, that 30 minutes turned into an hour, then 2 hours. And soon, he found that he was able to focus for long stretches of time without getting distracted. Thomas's story shows us that focus, like a muscle, gets stronger with use. The more you practice focusing on what matters, the easier it becomes. And the more you focus, the more you accomplish. Imagine a life where your time, energy, and attention are all aligned with your highest goals, where every day feels purposeful, every task feels significant, and every moment feels like a step towards something greater. That's the power of mastering these three elements. It's like unlocking a new level in your life where your potential is fully realized and your dreams are within reach. When you have all three aligned, you become unstoppable. You're not just achieving your goals, you're surpassing them. You're not just living, you're thriving. So what's the takeaway here? It's that mastery over your time, energy, and attention isn't just about getting more done. It's about crafting the life you want, like a sculptor chiseling away at a block of marble. It's about making deliberate choices every day that bring you closer to your goals, that help you create a life that's not just busy, but meaningful. As you go forward, remember this. Your time, energy, and attention are your most powerful tools. Use them with intention and watch as you shape your life into the masterpiece it was meant to be.